Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. My name is Muhammad Irfan bin Jasmi, your program director for UniKL eDebate Youth Cup 2021. I would like to give an opening remark of UDYC 2021 currently live in Facebook, UniKL page, Campus Lifestyle Division, and YouTube of UniKL eDebate Youth Cup 2021. But before that, I would like to congratulate for making it to the quarterfinals. Ladies and gentlemen, UniKL eDebate Youth Cup 2021 is an inter-UniKL debate competition organized by UniKL Student Representative Council USRC 2021 with the collaboration of the Orator Club MIDI, Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking MIDP, Student Representative Committee UniKL MIDI 2020 and 2021, and Campus Lifestyle Division CLD. This inter-UniKL debate competition is intended to foster and cultivate the feeling of competitiveness and ensure the longevity of the art of debating in UniKL. Besides that, UDYC 2021 will be the setting stone for the future debating competition in UniKL. New talents will arise and represent UniKL in future competitions. Objectives of UDYC 2021 is to equip UniKL students with improved critical thinking skills, to have more confidence to stand up for the truth when the discussion is promoting falsehood or inaccuracies, to achieve enhanced teamwork skills and collaboration, to acquire better voice, speech delivery, and public speaking skills. Details of the event. Format of the debate is Asian Parliamentary, which is 3 versus 3. Each UniKL campus will send in one team, leading up to 12 teams to equal the number of UniKL campuses. Each team comprises of 3 debaters and 1 trainee educator. The competition started from yesterday, 25th of September, and will end today at 26th of September 2021. Tentative for day 1 is preliminary round of round 1 until round 4, and tentative for day 2 today is quarterfinal, semifinals, finals, alongside closing ceremony to wrap up the whole competition. With that, I have explained a summary of UniKL eDebate Youth Cup 2021, and I will pass back to the chairperson. Your floor.
All right, thank you, our program director, Irfan. So, hello and welcome to the UniKL eDebate Youth Cup 2021. Thank you to all lecturers, students, and supporters for being here today. My name is Hakim Atnor, and I will be your chairperson and timekeeper for this session. Today's session will be educated by Taki. So we are going to start the quarterfinal round by reading the motion. Here the motion for this debate is, this house would prohibit the K-pop contract. The member of the government side representing UniKL MSI, which are Tuan Ashraf as the Prime Minister, Sarah as the Deputy Prime Minister, Adam as the government whip. The reply speech from the government side will be given by Tuan Ashraf. The member of the opposition side representing UniKL Mimet are Hafizi as the leader of opposition, Wafa as the deputy leader of opposition, Shazlan as the opposition whip. The reply speech from the opposition side will be given by Hafizi. Before we begin, I will briefly explain the rule. Hear me out. Each of the main speeches is 7 minutes long. The first and last minute of each of these speeches is known as a protected time, which means there's no point of information or POI may be asked by the opposing bench. The reply speeches are 4 minutes long and are entirely protected from POIs. As the timekeeper, I will mark the opening and closing of protected time with a single bang or clap, once at 1 minute and a second time at 6 minutes. I will also indicate that a speaker time is up with a double bang. If a speaker continues for a further 15 seconds, the indicator will start with a triple bang, and thereafter continuously until the speaker stops. The indicator for the reply speech will start as a single bang at 3rd minute, double bang on the 4th minute. If the speaker continues for a further 15 seconds, the indicator will start with a triple bang, and thereafter continuously until the speaker stops. Could I also politely ask that phone are switched off for the duration of each debate? If you wish to use your phone, please mute your mic and switch off your video to respect the ongoing session. Participant, you will have a 10-minute grace period each if you are disconnected. Please continue your speech during that period. We will move on the next speaker if you fail to reconnect after the grace period ends. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the first speaker of the debate, the Prime Minister, to the floor to open the debate. The stage is all yours.
Hello, am I audible?
Yep.
Right. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. When I was young, which was 10 years ago, I'm the biggest fan of Big Bang. I'm sorry, is it lagging? All right. Let me start again because it's quite lagging for me to see the timer there. Yeah.
All right.
Sir, it's quite lagging. Yeah. Let me time myself. Can you stop the time first? Right.
All right. Right. I maybe reset the time,
Yeah.
so we may start again.
Okay. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. It was 10 years ago when I was one of the biggest fan of Big Bang, and I believe that it is one of the ways for me to release my anxiety just because I can watch the K-pop groups all day. Somehow, it's somehow I didn't know that it was bounded to kind of slavery contract, which means that they are being controlled. So in status quo, in order to be successful singer in Korean pop industry, they must be bound with K-pop contract. This means they are bound to a certain management agencies to control their career growth, and we are okay with label contract. But to what extent does it become a problem is when it is problematic when it comes to contract controls the diets, which means that you cannot eat whatever you want. You must be bound to the some certain diets needed. Second is love life, which means that you cannot be a normal human being to love others or to be loved. And third, your behavior, which is also what we need as a human being, and you are being controlled in this kind of thing. And we from the government side, we believe this is a kind of modern slavery where you have to bounce to certain contracts and then you have to follow the rules that have been set by the contracts themselves. I believe it's okay. I believe the purpose of this contract is to make sure that these artists are successful. Somehow, to a certain extent, we could see the difference between the normal label and also Korean label, and how we could see that the normal label could also succeed as far as Korean label as well. And we believe we don't need the K-pop contract. That's why we want to prohibit the K-pop contract in this kind of terms at the moment. So in order to succeed, the artist must be in label to produce the songs, music videos, and create income, right? Somehow, to the extent that they have to control those elements, if they need to succeed, it is problematic. That's why we think it is problematic. So even if they succeed, instead of receiving handsome royalty, they must pay back to the agencies. It means that even if you get the profits will be given 50. It will be given to. I mean, the royalty will be given to the artist. Somehow it seems like a justice way to succeed. Somehow the artist must pay back to the management of what they have done, which is to pay the wardrobes, to pay the fee of dancing and so on. And we think it is problematic when it comes to you have to when it comes to artists have to bound with this kind of contract just to succeed. So our goal is simple. Our goal from the government is simple. We want to make sure that we prohibit K-pop contract and we can continue with a label contract that is that is human than K-pop contract itself. We believe that there's a few things that we need to understand in this kind of thing. So let's talk about the mechanism from our side, right? Our mechanism is simple. First one, those who are not bound to the contract, they are not allowed to sign. They are allowed to sign other. Those who are not bound to the contract, they are not allowed to sign the contracts. It means that a grooming artist, they cannot bound to the K-pop contract in order to make sure that they don't sign this contract. It means that if they want to succeed, they don't have to sign for this contract, because we believe as a government we want to provide an alternative towards them, which is the normal label, like the Hollywood artists or the Westerners artists. The second is that the agencies must abolish these elements. Those elements that that been said just now was the elements of controlling diets, love life, and behavior, to the extent that they have to control all the rights, to the extent that they must pay back of what they have received. This is what we want to abolish these elements, and you can continue as a normal label like before. And then those artists, and the third one is those artists who had paid would free to sign other labels without paying back towards towards um towards the current contracts, because we believe through the current contracts you receive the profits already, even for the artist, even for the company, you receive for both sides. So my argument will be simple. I'm gonna show you why how the K-pop contract is problematic towards the rights. That's first. Second, I'm gonna tell you how is it actually how the comparative happens between the normal label and K-pop contract, and how normal label you could actually succeed. As far as K-pop contract that's being said human, in the status quo, right? So let's talk about the rights. Like K-pop idols are normal human beings. It means that those are human beings who have talents, those who are could sing, those who can dance. We believe that it's valuable somehow to make sure that the problem now somehow to make them to be successful, they have to promote themselves to the world, right? So in order to do that, they have to bound with these K-pop contracts. Somehow it cannot be justified as merely the property of the agencies themselves, where they are normal human beings. It means that they must get the opportunity to eat like other human beings. They must get the opportunity to to live the life of love, which means they can love and be loved, and they must be bound to the they must be they must they can do they can bound to the behaviors that they have. So this is a basic necessity of a human beings, and once it is controlled, it starts to show that you are actually condemning this kind of people, and you are condemning this K-pop these artists, just because they don't follow this, they won't be succeed. So I believe that the reason why the K-pop contracts do all these kind of elements, make up these kind of elements, because they want to make sure the K-pop artists are successful. Somehow we could show, I'm going to show you in cooperative how without this kind of elements, without paying back to the management, the K-pop artist can be successful as well. Let's look at Ed Sheeran, right? He's not bound to any kind of this contract. It means that he's bound to the normal label. It means that the label will make the music, and he will get the royalties, and the label will do the tour, the world tour towards him, and he will get the royalties. And even if they have to pay, it's not as to the extent that they have to pay. It's not extent that he has to pay everything. But instead of Korean K-pop, instead of having royalty, you get the royalty and then you have to pay them back. So this is a kind of slavery. Instead of being a normal human being, you are being tortured. You are being tortured emotionally just because of this kind of thing. Just because you have to be successful, you have to be tortured. And in order and we believe from a government side, we want to make sure what we want from the opposition side today is that to prove us that K-pop contract is not against what we had told you, and we and give us some alternative that it seems like more human than K-pop contracts, and that's the demand from the government side. Never been prouder to propose. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the speech. Now, please welcome the first speaker of the opposition, the leader of opposition, to open the case for their side.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Hello.
Alright. So I might not be able to like turn on my camera because due to connection. So is it okay?
Hafizi. All right, I'm okay with that.
Alright. So There are none so blind as those who cannot see. There are none so deaf as those who cannot hear. The government believe that there is a curtain that blanket our perception toward today's motion. Opposition negates the existence of its very curtain and will remove it to reveal the blinding lights of truth. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Primarily, I bid to the honorable panel of adjudicators, accurate timekeeper, government, opposition, and members of this majestic parliament. This is how the opposition will be entering today's debate. As the first speaker, I present the burden of proof in our stance before moving on to several layers of clarifications and rebuttals. Then I'll move on into my arguments. Then my second speaker will give out her arguments, and finally my wit will then deconstruct the anatomy of the case presented from the government team. So now let me walk you through the case setup I have and what would the opposition prove on this debate. There are three things we'll prove. First, we'll prove to you why K-pop contract is important. And then we'll prove to you why K-pop contract is illogical to be addressed as a slave contract. And the third one, how this K-pop contract benefits surpasses its harm when it doesn't exist. Alright, so now well, our stand is very simple. We believe that uh, the House should not prohibit the K-pop contract as the benefits of the existence of this K-pop contract outweigh the harms. All right, so let's move on into my characterization. All right, so we think that K-pop contract, we accept the definition brought by the government before, but then there's something that we still need to address. The government see that K-pop contract is problematic because they are denying the human's right, and we think that government should not be this narrow-minded and should see this from much more bigger picture, in which I will be explaining later why I say so. All right, so entertainment industry is like basically one of the biggest industry and the biggest contributors to Korea's economy. So the government need to understand that the government there are willing to invest tons of money for those idols. So
POI?
no thank you. All right. So let's look into the importance and the rationale of the behind the contract. So agency has the right to control their idol's life in the aspect mentioned in the contract because this is due to huge investment was made when they were extracted as trainees. Not only that, also sometimes the trainees, not all of them can succeed to become an idol. Therefore, the company have chances to lose investment, and that's why they cater this contract. So controlling, all right. So let's
Your
see
answer.
about the cases mentioned by the prime minister before, in which this contract controlled the love life of the idols and then also controls the idol's diet and so on. So we think that the love life of the idol is controlled to avoid unnecessary controversy, which may distract their main focus. Not only
POI?
that, this is
Your
no thank
answer.
you. This is also due to the toxic K-pop fan that easily cancel the idol if they do something immoral or something bad. So to simplify it, during the first few years of training, they need to spend money out of their pocket first before the trainees can become an idol and help generate revenue to to
Your answer.
no thank you to pay back for the investment for the training and living well-being of the trainee. So talking about the diet is controlled. Okay, the idol's diet is controlled due to because appearance is everything. We all know that in Korea, even plastic surgery too, there are Korean beauty standard. In my opinion, in K-pop, uh, most times they sell their looks first, not only their talents. So controlling their behavior is also crucial for social impression. This is to impress their fans to help them to generate the income because at the end of the day, the money they get also comes from their fans. So in order for them to do that,
POI?
they have to still
Your answer.
like uh, impress their fans so that they could generate more. All right, so let's see why we think that the benefits of having the contract surpasses the harms if it doesn't exist. So imagine being a K-pop idol. There are many things that you would be able to get after you debut and after you sign after you debut and everything, right? So let's see. First, fame. The fame you're getting from being an idol is insane. Like imagine everyone wants to take pictures and your signature and it goes on. And those are money. Money will flow. Every time you take a picture or model or even giving a signature to your fans. Alright, so money. So
Your
like
eyes, sir?
we admit that earning money for K-pop idol isn't a lot, especially when they just debut. But however, the salary differs for each idol and how much that they have to pay the company back. And however, once the debt is paid off, idols can earn up to $250,000 dollar a month. If they have a couple of hits through the year, some idol even earn more. If you look at idols like numbers of BTS, it's even known that their yearly salary is in the millions. It's is in the millions
Your
for
eyes,
album
sir?
sales, concert, and streams. No, thank you. Uh, Not only that, there are also we believe that there are also act that is in Korea that is implemented for the idols to be protected by the laws of Korea. So not only the government of Korea, but also we think that the United Nations also have something to do about this. The United Nations already, you know, uh, implement the LO protocol on forced labor, in which is used to every countries in this world. All right. Not only that, according to the news report on the 8th of March 2013, the Korean Federal Commission (KFTC) investigated 8 major Korean entertainment companies, in which SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, JYP, FNC Entertainment, Cube, Jellyfish Entertainment, DSP Media, and implemented changes to state contract clauses that were deemed to be unfair. Here's the something here are the example of the contract clauses that were modified. Uh, so forcing artists to renew their contract after expiration, it's not like they have to, like be they have to be uh it's not like they have to pay for everything like their whole life. So it was reported that JYP, Cube, and DSP Media had pressured artists into renewing their contracts after their expiration, and otherwise they were forced to return a sum double the amount invested. So the FTC has since modified the clause allowing companies to only begin preliminary negotiation upon the expiration of the contract. So, all right. To conclude, we think that it is invalid for the government to say that this is a slavery contract, because we think that the benefits from this contract surpasses the harm if this contract doesn't exist. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right, I would like to thank to the speaker for the speech and welcome the second speaker of the government, the Deputy Prime Minister, to continue the case for their side.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'm starting my in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm as the second. I'm as the deputy minister, as second speaker for the government. I'm going to do two things, which is first my rebuttals and then my arguments from our government side. First, let's go for our rebuttals. As the leader opposition said, agency had rights to control idols' life. In some cases, is that somehow it brings a misleading information that will make some people thinks that the company thinks that they are really go for is they are going to produce a machine like others who are designed solely to just for entertain people. They have no right when they are being control their life. They have no right to speak out their voice. They have no right to
Joy,
having their own simple.
Joy.
No, thank you. They have no right to continue living just like normal people out there. They are being controlled in so many aspects. Even said the idols are protected by the law of Korea, somehow there are many cases that which show that idols itself can having their normal lifestyle and wherever they're being go, they're always being watched by their company. They're always being too too being too controlled by the company itself. How is this going to be so logical for us to be controlled for their whole life? And it's not for just a short term, but it's for a long term, for such for 7 years, 10 years. Somehow is being is too disturbing their, even to their idols, to the idols private life
Your
itself.
eye.
No, thank you. Let me continue. Okay, I have the memorable battles. Okay, let's go to our argument from our sides. Okay, what we are for the argument is we are talk about the profit for the ID itself. Okay, as we know, idols, they were put under such a contract which often face harsh treatment, especially in their initial years, including the lack of privacy, they have to the starvation and solitude. Okay. Okay. Under most contracts, trainees and K-pop idols are required to somehow they are required to pay back their management agencies for all of the costs of singing, dancing classes, or wardrobe and living costs. Okay, let's put this in situation where at first when they are going to take the idols to be under their company will pay the artists around 10 million for the first year. But for the first year, the total of 10 million itself is not for the first year, but it's all for 7 years by that were written on the contract. They have the first payment for a long term. Okay, within this year, all the idols have to attend all the advanced classes arranged by the company, which means nothing. What I'm saying that is it is because the idols need to pay back everything that the company provide for them. What why they have to pay? They have to pay it, but somehow they have no funds. What they only have is the only first payment they get for the first year. So they because they have no funds, they must follow the contract. And when the contract itself have be provided, they must continue because they already agree with that. They can voice out their opinion that I want I can go, I want to rest. Even they are too tired, they still have to, because they were forced by the contract itself. Okay, when they okay in this concept, everything that the company provide for them, it is actually uh it is their, how am I going to say that, they deserve for it because they bring the name of the company itself. If the company want the best one idols to perform for their company to give them profit, they have to provide it for free, not for something that they have to pay back with the money that they get only for the first payment. At the end of the day, they got low profit because they can because they need to pay for all the things back. Okay, my second argument is actually it is become a burden for the idea itself. No, they have
Your
they were
eye.
no, thank you. They were forced the whole career for 7 years, and they need to keep going and maintain the performance for 7 years, which is a long term. Then okay, in the state of it itself, they can have no drama, no live life. They have to control their behavior, and they no, thank you. They were forced to they were forced to pay for
Your
something
eye.
that is the option, but to the company say it as a no and mandatory. What I'm saying that in case they want to maintain their body shape, they have to pay for expensive gym membership just to because the company has made them to be no option, but it's a mandatory. This thing made that the company made them to pay more than what they have to something that they already can pay for royalty for years. So why not they go all this thing for free instead of paying it because it actually deserve it. this thing by all this thing happen, these things gonna stress them out by because they were pressured by all the packed schedules such as strict dietary, packed singing and dancing class that they have to follow. Just imagine that you are in this situation, in their situation. Are you sure that you can face being controlled all years by the company? This will, in these cases, this will leading to mental stress such depression, anxiety and so on. And as we know, for years idols being depressed and they choose to suicide because of the burden they face for years. For example, Suli, Kim Jong Hyun, also Jin and Park Yong Ha, they were idols that kill themselves because they can face the burden anymore. At the end of the day, the burden of the contract give a bad impact to K-pop out there for years, and it still keep going. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I would like to thanks to the speaker for the remarks and welcome to the second speaker of the opposition, the deputy leader of opposition, to continue the debate for their side.
Can you guys hear me? Or is it unclear?
We can hear you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of us here. So I'm as a DLO for this opposition team would like to argue and to rebut from the government side. First of all, I would like to rebut about the Prime Minister's points or view, which is they have to control diets, love lives, and etc. I mean, like the Prime Minister has a strong point, have focused on the point of the diet control life, which is the prime minister of the government side is just like want to make the companies to be look on bad when it is opposite, totally opposite, which is because the companies do this control diet life is to give a profit to the trainees, exactly, because in these countries or in the Korea country we can know the expectation of the idols now in the modern or in the or to be in the top world
UI,
globing.
ma'am.
I'm sorry, let me finish my argument first. You are just distracting me right now, please. And then you can say that the control diet is actually help the trainees to gain more profit and to be on a world top with this kind of diets and etc. Because the Korean culture is most like that. Okay, you can take example for the Blackpink group. You can see now where they are standing right now, isn't it? Can you just think a little while? Don't just put the blame on the companies.
UI,
When
ma'am.
please take a note that I will want to finish my argument first. Please take a note. Listen carefully. So like if in this real life, if you're going to profit a famous lifestyle, if you want to be a famous in the top of world, you cannot expecting nothing, or you cannot expecting a life without a struggle. Even if we want to be a best student also, we have to struggle every night, studies in the middle of the night. So if you want to be a top of the world globing, did you expect nothing at all? Did you expect you want to okay, that's my
UI,
point
ma'am.
of argument. Oh, sorry, thank you. Let me finish my argument first. So first of all, this is slave contract. Okay, this is contract, which is the trainee also know about the rules of the contract. The trainees also know the idol also know what they are going to face in the future, the pros and cons of the contract. Okay, so we are not the companies or the netizen or etc are not forcing them. They are not forcing them. So I want to rebut about the Prime Minister, which is they are being controlled or have or they should have their right to control their own life. Yes, they have their rights. Because of that, before you sign in of your contract, make sure you read all the rules first. So you cannot. Oh, sorry. Let me finish. I'm not getting my points right. I just rebuttal that. Please. Okay. So we are not forcing them to enter this field. Okay. It's just their own choice, their choice. Okay, they are given the rights to choose or not to signing the contract in the first place, isn't it? Let me clear this one. We are not. There's nobody forcing the idol to sign in the contract, and the idols also know the pros and cons, or they also know what they are going to facing, or the struggle life they will get to be on the top of the world globally. So please, do not say like we are forcing them, we are not giving them the
Your
companies not
ma'am.
giving them their rights. Okay, so let me move to the my first point is, so also their self contract and their people say that companies maybe gain a more profit, but no, here's the fact is, not to mention nowadays when when they are famous, when they have been through all of this struggle, they will get a right on the top globing like a BTS, like BTS, Blackpink, etc. They are all over the world right now. So not to mention nowadays they're even gaining a lot of love from fans and everything. But they are doing or something conflict they are doing, the company will take a blame for sure to save the both side, because they do not want to lose the idol, and the idol do not want to lose their performance. So these are the pros and consequences, and the company have their rights to discipline them. No, thank you. I will get your items minute. So exactly, the companies can request to get paid by a trainees. It's not common. Exactly, at the time before signing the contract, people should shy away from the company if they ask for the training fees. Okay, just like I say, it's their choice. It's their choice. It's their choice. So the agency has their rights to sing. They are also facing a consequences if the trainee are slacking off around and not having a discipline, isn't it? So the company have their rights too. Do you think you are just going to let the idol win just because you love them? Do you know that? Don't you think that the companies even have their rights or their humanity? What's your humanity? They are also human. If you want a life, yeah, that I have mentioned that. Law is the first thing, right? Law is the first thing. So you know about the rules. It is just like business. They are willing to take the risk. They are willing to take the risk. In this world, burden is the you want to be a girl, you can just achieve your goals without thinking about the pros and cons. I think the government side did not fully understand this law of slave contract, which is the idol choose in the first place. And all of these payments or the companies getting paid is actually for their trainees also, because they are going to give much more money or investment in the trainees life. And also the trainee or the idol also get a more profit when they are famous. They will be getting more and more scout to be a model to etc and others. If the idols not really like their their company's rule or their company's contract, they can just back off in the first place. That's what I want to highlight here. It's their choice. It's their choice. Okay, they have their own right. Please take note. Thank you. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Now, let us welcome the government whip to summarize the debate for the government side.
Hello, y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right. Wait a minute. Mm. I'll start my debate in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say for you today that I am totally agreeing with the opposition side. Yes, we need these music labels. We need them to keep in check of whatever the situation is regarding our idols and stuff like that. Yes, but what they failed to show to us, what the opposition failed to show to us, that the dire need of us to need this kind of labels to control their love life, to control the diets, and to control everything that they need to do as a human being at the end of the day to prove that they will be more successful, or at least become successful if they follow these certain criteria. All right. So before I start my debate for today, I'll divide my route into two. First, I would like to rebut every single thing that the opposition side said, and second, I will stand up for the government side, which is the better side on this case, to this debate. All right. So let's move on to the opposition side, which is how they are so delusional, saying that the first speaker stated that okay, these kind of things are needed because it is to boost the economy itself. It is entertainment which is more invested, and yes, I agree these kind of things are needed, but you need to show to us what does what does the current music label that doesn't have these certain criteria and characteristics are not being successful. Which you must understand that the government side today we agree that these music labels are needed, but what we don't need is the criteria or this kind of status quo that they're putting in the terms and conditions, which you need to control your diets and stuff like that. We don't see that by controlling these kind of things, we don't see that the diet need of following these kind of things, you could be successful at the end of the day. All right, so you can be on me anytime you want. I'll take it. Yes, go on.
Because when you say that you don't think that it will be profit and error, so what about your comment on the teams of VCF and Blackpink right now when they are on the top right now, since they are doing a lot of drag right now in the past years?
All right, so that's the delusional part of the opposition side for today. They believe that okay, every single one who is successful must follow this Korean, statistic or characteristic that they provide. While other companies, while other artists that are being successful, they doesn't even need to show this, to follow this kind of criteria. For example, we have artists in the Western, artists in Malaysia itself, and artists even in Korea itself. So like now, I will prove to you that the taboo topic in the music industry itself, which they are forced which they are forced to sign in this kind of contracts which they don't have any rights, they don't have any say that they need to follow this kind of contracts or not, they will not be successful in this music industry itself. All right, so let's move on to the no, thank you. I'll take it after this. All right, and then let's talk about how you need to pay back their trainees and stuff like that. They say that okay, these kind of things are needed because these trainees need more money, and this proves that how immoral and how rude the opposition side is today. They say that okay, if you don't pay these trainees, at the end of the day, the economy won't boom. Okay, so you must understand that this is at the end of the day is the rights of the idol itself, whether they want to pay for it, whether they want to cater for these expenses, for them to be healthy and stuff like that. At the end of the day, so these kind of things are being options, or they are closing these kind of options towards those idols and so on. All right, and then they also talk about idols can even be more successful, and and basically all sunshines and rainbow, that there will be nothing wrong if you follow this kind of things. If you follow this kind of characteristics that provided by this company, you will be successful, which is definitely wrong. You must understand that the taboo topic of the music industry itself, it is so hard for you to be successful. You need a music label to promote your music and to publish your music, and at the end of the day, these kind of music labels are needed. What we say that are not needed is the characteristic that's been provided by these Korean companies. You don't need to be you don't need to be seen to be successful. You don't need to eat properly to be successful. You don't need to hide who you love and who you care about to be successful, because it is a basic human necessity for you to be a human, to show who you love or who you care about. And I don't really understand that how you can by hiding people you love, it can make you more focused on music itself, because they don't elaborate more on that. And then they also provide facts about the UN and forced labor, and how at the end of the day they will pay back this kind of artists, which also happens in those music industry that doesn't have this kind of characteristic. So you must understand the burden of proof for today's opposition is they need to show to us the dire need for us to to use this certain characteristic that has been provided by these Korean labels. All right, so let's move on to the second opposition side, which she keeps talking about. It is right. It is whatever they can do whatever they want. They can live, which is really doesn't make sense, because first, from the first speaker to me right now, I already told you that they are forced to sign this kind of contract, because if you don't do this kind of certain kind of contracts, you won't be successful at the end of the day, because you need people to promote your music and labels and stuff like that. And then they also talk about there is no force and stuff like that, which I don't really understand. And she also touch about, they will be successful again. The same thing as the first speaker said, that they will be successful. They will be all sunshine and rainbow if they follow these kind of characteristics and stuff like that, which doesn't happen in real life. If you want to know, all right. And at the end of the day, they also say that okay, these companies have right to control their idols, or basically control their artists. So yes, I do agree with that. But this kind of things also exist in the current music labels, which, if your artist misbehave, if your artist do certain kind of things that doesn't qualify as being rude, or basically go against any law, you have the right to release your artist under your label and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, what they are saying, the second speaker are saying that it is their right, which they don't understand the taboo situation and the stereotypes regarding the music industry itself, which I told you that the opposition side today failed to show to us the dire need for us to control our life and stuff like that. All right, so let's move on to the government side, which is basically the better side on today's debate. All right, so moving on to the first speaker, we already told you that it is a human right. It is human for you to have a say for what you want to eat, for who do you need to love, and for whatever expressions that you need to express at the end of the day, because you are human. You can feel sad, you can feel happy, you can love whoever you want. It is a human right, and it's inhuman for you to put a cap for it, for you to hide your emotions at the end of the day. And also this also contributes to the depression stuff, as the second speaker from our side stated, which I will furthermore elaborate on. We talk about the expenses that happens. Okay, if you see that if you compare like two artists on different levels, for example, the Korean labels and the normal label itself, the expenses are still there. But what differentiates them is that the expenses that they have to pay for the things that the other label provided for free. This kind of singing classes, dancing classes, they are provided for free, because when you sign under the label are the one who's supposed to take care of you and your well-being. You are not responsible to pay for them, which I don't really understand. But what is the need for you to pay for this kind of people? Because these kind of things are responsible for the label itself to pay for your expenses and stuff like that. And then the second thing that we talk about is that how these kind of expenses could dive to KG and at the end of the day, because you need to pay your debt that the labels give to you, the starting money that they give to you, and then the second you need to pay for your life expenses, which you won't be having any money except for your music royalties, and that also happens if you are successful itself. So we believe that we from the government side, we already showed to you that the taboo topic around the music industry itself, how they cannot survive without music industry, and we could still sign in the music industry itself without this certain characteristic that the opposition side failed to show the dire need of it. And by that, I never be more proud to propose the government side win. Thank you.
Thank you, Government Whip. Now, please welcome the opposition whip to sum up for the opposition team.
Hello, is my audio audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone, members of the floor and viewers of this debate. So I will summarize on what the opposition is trying to oppose the motion and and why we should and why our point is much stronger than the government side. So as we all know that the entertainment industry in Korea is one of the biggest pillars for Korea to succeed in the world. And sorry.
You all right?
And sorry. and we need to know that the methods that the Korean labor contract is different from other countries, especially the western side of the world. We need to know that the Korean contract consists of consists of expenses for their training, their their accommodation, their lifestyle, and so on. This is because that in Korea, the
POI.
no, thank you. Please allow me to please allow me to continue. We need to know that the life in Korea is very challenging, and to the trainees in Korea, this is a golden opportunity for them to earn some money for their family and themselves as well. So it is for sure that they will accept the contract. They view the policies as well, and they are well aware of what they will what they will face in the future. And I would like to say that they are not forced to accept the contracts. This is because some of the entertainment companies, they have scouts where they look for local talents. Maybe you can see around the neighborhood, we can see someone performing, and the scout seems to be interested. So the scout will engage the with that talent instead, or the company will open up an audition to find new trainees to join their company and become idols someday. I would like to say that the as for the love life, the diet, and their controlled life as an idol, I would like to say that this is essential to be an idol. First, we have to understand the term of idol. Idol means someone who we look up to, comparing to the term of celebrity, which means someone who is
POI.
famous in their specialized. No, thank you. Please allow me to finish first. So, in Korea, idol means everything to the K-pop people. No, to the Korean people. So, if anything, if anything controversial happens to that idol, it will shatter the idol image in their fans. Therefore, it will therefore it will ruin the idol's name and the company's name. Also, to uh, to our side, we highly stated that the controlled life, including diet and love life, is important. This is because to make them a more disciplined person uh,
POI.
and a better idol for their fans. Because let's face it, we as K-pop fans, we would like to see our idols as neutral. Because if we see that our idol is in a relationship, it was like a betrayal to them. And as for the
POI.
diet,
POI.
no, thank you. This is for as for the diet. A diet is essential also for the idols to uh, comply with. This is because they have they have they have they have tons of routines in their daily life, such as singing classes, dancing classes, and a lot of events they have to attend. And this takes a lot of their energy, and their diet is very crucial to them, because
POI.
this is because they want to control their body and and makes their body more functional and avoid any any sickness during their contract as an idol. And I'd like to highlight the depression from the deputy prime minister said about regarding Kim Jong Un. I would like to say that depression is mutual. this is not only happens in the K-pop industry, this is also happens in the Western or other countries music industry as well. Perfect example, Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. He was suffering from depression. So I would like to highly state it that okay, I would like to highly state it that what are we trying to say that K-pop contract is uh, K-pop contract is very is um, consists of sorry. I will end my speech here. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the opposition whip. So now let's give the government and opposition side 5 minutes to prepare for the reply speech. Please be aware that the reply speech will be for 4 minutes and no POI is allowed. Thank you. We will see you after the 5 minutes. Now, let us welcome the representative from the opposition side for the reply speech.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone present here for today. So, it is in fact that if this K-pop contract doesn't exist, it is bad in and of itself. It would be invalid for the government to tell us how without this contract, today's K-pop industry wouldn't be as where they are right now. So, at the end of the day, do you believe that the success doesn't come without challenges? Do you think that J-Hope from BTS would achieve net worths of $26 million if this contract doesn't exist? Do you believe that the son of a farmer like V from BTS would receive the diplomatic visa if this contract doesn't exist? Do you think that they would be able to stand there at where they are right now if this such contract doesn't exist? So moving on, we didn't deny the existence of mental illnesses, especially when you are being put under control and stuff. But at the end of the day, we think that it's worth it because the struggles like worth the struggles all worth because what comes after that is like so much more better than that. So the government should not we think that the government should not bring suicide into this. Like as mentioned by my whip just now, the Deputy Prime Minister question is totally irrelevant. Suicide among entertainers is not does not only happen in K-pop. Like Americans are also depressed, isn't it? So although the contract is different, the policy is still the same. Like for example, Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, Amy Winehouse and many more. So we believe when trainees sign the contract, they are deemed to comply with the policy. I believe that these trainees are aware of the reality of the industry. However, we have to think of the reasons behind why these idol themselves agree and willing to sign the contract. They still choose to venture into it. Why? Because the possible returns once debuted is in a very handsome amount. Alright, so kind of like the fastest but painful way to be rich. Not only that, the government also failed to prove which teams or idol bands are able to be on top without the existence of this contract because there are none proof that they could bring because every K-pop band that stands on top of right now are obligated to the contract. So because at the end of the day, it's not only about rainbows and sunshine, it's about the rainbows and sunshine that come after the heavy rain. So we think that it would be invalid for the government to say that this contract is denying the idol rights because in return, they would achieve more. The government also failed to recognize my point before where I mentioned that in 2017, Korean Far Trade Commission, KFTC, has investigated the the contract in major companies like YG and SM and so on. Right. So the government keep talking about the contract from like 10 years back then. So the government is not proposing the motion. The government is we believe that the government is proposing the motion without having the clear information and the clear knowledge on how the current contract works in the K-pop industry. So of course, by having negative perception is a sin because once you do so, you are not able to see the positive behind it anymore. So, in order for you to change that, you don't have to put all K-pop contracts as one because there are already you should not only think about the negative sides of this. We should see a different perspective. We should see the bigger picture behind this. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the speech. Now, let us welcome the last speaker for today's debate to give the reply speech for the government side. You may start.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Can I see timer, please? Yeah. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Mr. Speaker, let's calm down and then we could see which one should win today's debate. So my speech gonna be three simple things. The first one, which side has higher moral ground? The second one, beneficiary towards the stakeholders, and which side cater these both stakeholders, and third, why we should win the debate. Before I move on to those elements, as a K-pop artist, let's see what is in glimpse we are talking about in today's debate. The first from government side, yes, we agree that we need the contract to succeed, while the other side they agree as well. But what we don't agree is that to the extent that you have to be controlled on these elements such as diet, love of life, and also the behaviors. That is why we want to prohibit in the first place. That's why we come to the mechanism that any of us never said that we want to ban this kind of contracts, but we need to change inside the contract itself what's happening, which is against the rights of the human, which is against the rights of a human being. So let's move on to the moral high ground, right? So which side has moral high ground? From the opposition side, they keep saying that it's okay to be tortured, it's okay to having this kind of elements because you want to be successful. But from our side, we believe that in order to successful, we question that can this discipline be allowed to without the contracts? We approve them with Ed Sheeran, who has not been bound with this kind of contract because a successful artist, and we have shown you in order to make sure that you are successful in terms of in order to be successful, it doesn't merely need sort of the profit on the profit only. But we need to cater both of the mental health issues that have been said by my second speaker, and also to cater how it will benefit towards towards the industry. So we believe in the moral high ground instead of sacrificing a lot of things just because to achieve something that won't give you the benefits back. We believe that we should eradicate all these kind of elements to ensure that instead of having depression, the artist could be successful as well. Second, let's talk about beneficiary towards the stakeholders. From their side, what they have said that it's okay to struggle because at the end of the day they will get the profit. So this is what they need to understand about a K-pop contracts, right? So when it comes to this K-pop contract, I do the comparison with where I did the comparison with the normal label. For K-pop contracts, once you receive the royalty, you have to pay back for their management. You have to pay back for their dancing fees. You have to pay back all for the wardrobes. It means at the end of the day, there's no justice in this kind of contract because the artists themselves, once they receive the royalty, they have to pay back towards the contracts. So in comparison with the normal label, which they are being paid with royalty, so the company will get the profits based on the musics they produce, based on the tour, so they get the profit. So both of the parties and both of the stakeholders, artists will get the money, and also the company will get the money as well. At the end of the day, the mental health of the artists themselves are not are not being jeopardized just because they want to succeed. They give the example of Chester Bennington. But what we could see in the other side, which is out of this debate, those artists who commit suicide in Western is not because of the contracts to the label company, but it's because of their own problem and not to the company. Third, why we should win this debate is because we show you our moral high ground, which is we cater both to ensure that to be successful. It doesn't mean that you have to torture your mental. It doesn't mean you have to undergo a lot of things under these contracts, which is torturing you to become successful. We have shown you that even without these things, you can be successful as well. And their side, they fail to cater the burden that we have given them, which is to show us how without these contracts they cannot be successful. That's all from me. Never be prouder to propose. Viva la MSI. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the reply speech. With that, the debate for this round has ended. Let us give the educators some time to discuss this round result. The educators may move to the respective room. I ask the participant to please remain in this room. Thank you.
Hi guys. Hi Mimet.
MSI.
Wow, Adam. Wow, Adam.
How can I
Adam,
handle the MSI team?
oh my god.
MSI room.
You guys is eh.
Hey, wait, chairperson
Hey.
MSI eh? Chairperson MSI eh?
MSI. Ay, cham.
Macam
Yeah, you
Minda
guys
lah
did
bila
great.
you.
You guys did great. Yeah, we are in the quarterfinals. That means that we are both equally great.
But
Oh my god, like
congratulations.
we wanted to cry, okay?
Yeah,
No.
didn't expect we get into the quarterfinal actually.
Alright. I see. So like you guys weren't expecting it. Like, hey, you guys got 3 wins, right? Definitely, you guys gonna break.
We got 3?
You got. Do you guys check
No
like?
lah, only 2.
Yeah, we got 2.
I mean, like, there's teams like doesn't have any wins, and there's teams like have 1 wins and stuff like that. So like, for you to have like 2 wins, you definitely go to quarters. Like it was a great debate. Like, I really hate doing this kind of motions in the morning because it plays a lot of emotions and stuff like that. I really hate. Like yesterday,
True, that's true. Like, it's working me up right away.
I just woke up around 7:45. I have like a whole jug of coffee just for me to stay up. And yesterday they gave out like an emotion for economy at 8 a.m. I was like, what the heck?
I totally agree with that.
Hi
Yeah, but you
Sophie.
guys did great.
Hi Sophie of Mimet. She's
Yes,
watching.
too.
Hi.
Hi to an Ashraf.
We are live, right? Where's like the links and stuff? I want to see like how many people are watching this.
My family.
Your whole family?
Hi
My
Wafa
family.
family.
Great support,
Hi
guys.
Wafa family.
I love you all. Memang kena kecam lah dengan my family.
Yeah, my family doesn't. Oh, there's like 12 people watching. Oh shoot!
Probably my mom. Hi, Umi.
Hi guys. Hi to my
I'm here at the quarterfield.
to my ex-girlfriend.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Oops.
Ya dia Cik Suhadi. Stop watching.
Hi Cik Sedi.
Hi guys. Hey, Mimet, Wafa, like the last round you guys win, right?
We are
Simon.
losing to MFI.
MFI. Who's MFI? I
We
don't
got
really
no
remember.
luck.
We've met MFI before. Like they're pretty good.
Yeah, totally. I'm not going to mention, but they are good. All of them did really good.
I mean, like, is it your first tournament or what?
Yes, totally.
It's like literally
all of them.
all of
Yeah.
us punya
3 of us.
first time.
I mean, like, if it's your first tournament and you get to the quarterfinals, I mean, that's really good. Like, for real, that's really good.
Thank you for your kind words.
Congrats. I mean, like, we have Ashraf here. Ashraf is 30 years old.
Damn man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, like, our DPM Sarah, she's this is her first tournament.
So you guys are already in this field like a long time ago. I mean, like,
Not really. Like, I'm 19, and this is like my third tournament under my university, and yeah, like I've debated before in high school and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just about it.
Oh, that's why you are good.
I mean, like Ashraf here, he's
you're placing
30.
right now. Wow.
Ashraf is 30. It's like his like 500th tournament. So he has been to hundreds of tournaments. Ashraf.
Yeah. So Ashraf, take it easy, man.
If I've
The
gone
audience.
to 500 tournaments, I won't be here. I will be the Ash, not here, man.
By the way, you guys, I mean, like, what courses you guys take on?
I'm taking mechanical engineering, but I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah.
Understandable.
What about you guys? What course are you guys taking?
I'm currently in the first sem of diploma in marine engineering.
Oh, so you guys just like finished like SPM and stuff
Oh,
like
marine.
Yeah,
Pandai.
Marine. Marine. We met.
Budak pandai tu, marine.
Mimet Perak
Mimet tu
Yeah,
kelas paling
Lumut.
susah tu, marine.
like I have like a friend there, if you guys
Thank you,
know
Ashraf.
Aiman Mahadi, if you guys know him. He's my friend from my school. He's currently he's in semester 3. But I don't know like what how many courses you have right there. But yeah.
We are for me and my LO, we are just first sem and we just enter our campus this last week, so we are not
Wow,
really know about
like
that.
wow, like you guys just entered last week and then you went to this tournament.
Yeah,
Armada,
that's what.
Armada 3 berantem lagi tak?
Huh? Oh wait, I don't know
Armada
about that. I
3.
don't know about that.
I am now in Armada 3. Stop it.
Armada
We're currently
3.
in quarantine right now.
Oh, so you guys at campus lah.
Yeah.
Oh man, your campus is beautiful.
Hey, is it sincerely or you just making
No, no,
mocking
no,
us?
no, fair, no, fair.
Okay.
I mean, like, what I've heard, like, Mimet is pretty strict, like, whatever you do, and you cannot, like,
No, Mimet is a beautiful university. Come to Mimet. Come.
one day,
I've gone there
like,
like every year. Before COVID, every year I went there.
Oh.
I got a lot of
like,
programs there.
he's a senior debater, so he's been like 500 tournaments, so that's why, like, that
No, I
explains
didn't.
why he always, like,
He's
we from
flexing right
MSI,
now. He's self-flexing right now.
I didn't go there for debate though. Anyway,
Huh?
I didn't go there for debate. More
he
like
got a,
for
he
programs
got a
lah.
girlfriend there.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
no.
Lot of connection cables. Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, MSI,
lah.
Mimet is not that far, lah. Like, we're from Kedah, tau. Like,
I mean, we
Kedah,
are the
MSI.
Utara campuses, so yeah.
Yes, campuses. Utara fight.
Utara
Actually,
clan.
heard about Tuan Ashraf like kind of few times. Like Sophie mentioned him, and also Afiq mentioned him.
Oh, so
Afiq,
they,
Afiq.
Afiq mana?
No, Afiq Basharuddin. I'm not sure.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Afiq Basharuddin, Ali Shazwan, they're all my
Yeah,
Ali.
yeah.
What are
Yeah,
they talking about? Are they telling you guys that he's old and stuff like that? Because
Wait, those are debaters as well. Afiq tu pun.
Yeah.
Afiq
so
debater.
they've retired or what?
Yeah.
He doesn't debate anymore, I guess.
I see.
Yeah, actually, Afiq, Ali, Sophie, the one who train us before we get into this
I
tournament.
see. I'm like, so like, to be clear, like, you guys train for just like a week or something before the
Yeah.
tournament?
Like
Wow.
we only had like two practices meeting.
Like, have you guys debated in high school or something before?
For me, I'm not official lah. I'm just about 1 years maybe. But as a trainee during that pandemic in SPM, we can't just go to do the tournament. So I just like train in my school with my teachers.
I see.
This
And
this
how about,
totally the first time official debate tournament.
I mean, like, 1 week of trainings and again you guys got to quarters, like, that's really good. Like, for real. That's really good.
Thank you.
And what about you, Hafizi? Like, your structure is really good. I was like, oh man, this guy is
I was
sturdy.
in BM debate before.
Oh, that explains why.
This is like my first time English debate. So
But you did good, like from Tuan Dipertua to Mrs. Picasso. I felt like debate, like Malay debate before, like Bahasa. It was really good, like, but like the one thing that I love about English debate is I can tell whatever facts that I want, and they doesn't know like whether it is a lie or not.
Yeah, sometimes people bluffing and I didn't know they are bluffing. I look like stupid.
Yeah, it was a great debate. Oh, it's already 10 p.m. So I don't know, like, we won't have any rest, like I want to eat, bro.
By the way,
really
I'm taking a picture. Can I?
No, go on.
Yeah.
wait.
1, 2, 3. Alright.
Hi.
Okay,
Alright, guys.
closing lah macam.
One more time.
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Hi.
So we will not have verdict from the educators. So you guys may leave the room and go to the Zoom for the announcement.
Alright.
Alright.
Bye.
So maybe you guys
Thank you
can sum up
again.
your Or get the conversation, and then may leave the room.
Alright, thank you everyone. It was a great debate. Alright,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Is Udyc one here? Tech 1, are you here? Okay, and
Okay, Kim. Sorry, dia ada perubahan sikit tadi. Rupanya result tu dia akan announce kat dalam Zoom. Aku baru dapat info.
Tak dengar Afan?
Dah tutup Zoom ke?
With me is me myself.
Oh, Zoom.
The decision to bring goes to start off. Congratulations.
Okay, Kim dengar.
Congratulations.
Hello?
You may approach your judge for
Sekejap aku nak tutup.
please prioritize the team that is going through to the next round to get their feedback first.
Mana nak
Then you can
tutup?
get their feedback after motion release for the teams that didn't make it. Okay, for round 1, can I check MSI 1, are you there?
Aman, can you explain back what happens dekat Hakim? I'll be going to Zoom.
MIMET 1, are you here?
Sekejap macam mana aku nak